What up, guys? Kevin here. So I keep seeing that 2023 is the best year in gaming. And then I see a list of all the games that make it the best year in gaming. And I'm like, I don't think I like any of those games. Any of them. So what I want to do is just look at all these games that people list. And these are games that people will probably consider Game of the Year nominees. I think a lot of them will be, of course. But I played most of these games, and there seems to be a theme with each and every one of these games. And it does make me question, do I even like gaming? So I'm just going to go through a list of all the big games that launched this year that I think people would consider great and just give my 2 cents. Starting with Hogwarts Legacy. I think Hogwarts Legacy was like the first big game. Well, Forspoken was, but people don't like Forspoken. I think I'm a little bit more forgiving, but again, that's a game I didn't even beat. But Hogwarts Legacy, a game I thought was all right. I was just bored one night and I bought it and I played it and I went, it's all right, but it's Harry Potter. And that's probably the deciding factor because I kind of dug what I played. This might be an actual positive in terms of this list that I have here. But at the end of the day, I don't care about the IP. I just don't. I'm not 12. But even when I was 12 and my teacher was reading it to me, I thought it was boring as shit. It was the most boring part of my day, my school day, was when my teacher read us Harry Potter. I couldn't stand it. But people love it. I do think this game should be nominated for Game of the Year. But then we move on to Dead Space. Dead Space Remake. This was very hyped. I was hyped because I liked Dead Space. I played 2 and 3. I never played 1 before. And I'm playing the Dead Space Remake when it launched. And I felt like I was just going through the motions. This was like the first, I guess, sign that, something's wrong here with gaming in 2023. I didn't know back then. But now looking back, Dead Space Remake was the first game where I felt like, all right, people are loving this. People are saying how great this is. And it felt like I was just going through the motions. And after a couple hours, I just stopped playing and never went back to it. Looks good, plays good, but I felt like I was just going through the motions with Dead Space because, oh my God, it's Dead Space. It's a classic. We have to play it. And Resident Evil 4. Now, I actually got to be fair to Resident Evil 4. I haven't played Resident Evil 4. So, but hey, if this game's great, does it automatically make 2023 the best year in gaming? No, because we still got a bunch of other games coming up. But this is a game I would like to play, but the more of these games I play that just don't hit, these big AAA games that make 2023 the best year ever, and I'm not liking them, I'm scared to even try Resident Evil 4. I'm going to probably have to wait till it's on like some Game Pass or something. Jedi Survivor. Now, I think Jedi Survivor really started the 2023 trend of big AAA game releases that are broken. Well, maybe Forspoken, but Jedi Survivor got very high acclaim, very high Metacritic score, and the game was broken everywhere. PC, console. Now, for my experience, I like Jedi Fallen Order. But as I'm playing Jedi Survivor, I felt like I was going through the motions. What really made me not want to return to this game, I did a little bit when they did the patch recently, but I'm like, too late. I just don't like that they use the Dark Souls combat loop in the game. It just makes no fucking sense. It really just makes no sense to me. I put up with it in Fallen Order, but that was years ago. Here, it's just like, why is it Dark Souls? Why? Why? Just because like, oh, we want to make a Souls Star Wars game. I just don't like it. I only like the Dark Souls formula in Dark Souls games. Though I gotta say, Liza P. Now that game isn't in this list, and from what I've seen, and that secret ending, oh boy, that might be deserving of what makes 2023 great. But Jedi Survivor just doesn't. I was playing it and I was just going through the motions. I think Cal Kestis, I don't know. Maybe it's just the way he looks. He just looks non-relatable. It just looks like, I mean, I guess relatable in the way he just looks like an average dude, but nothing about him just is appealing to me. I don't know, I'm not gay, but maybe I'm looking for something a little bit more there than a ginger Jedi. I don't know. But again, I was playing it and I felt like I was going through the motions. The game looks great. Performance sucks, but I think they fixed it. But I was like, okay, another game I was looking forward to, and uh-oh. And then this is where 2023 for me really settled in as, yeah, this isn't it for gaming. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom was probably my first like sleeping pill game. I'm going to call these sleeping pills. Games I just start playing and it just knocks me right out. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is just boring as shit. First off, just the way the game starts. You're with Zelda and you're going into some caves or caverns or whatever. And the murals, Link, the murals, look at the murals. And then, I don't know, you touch something, then what, Ganondorf comes to life or something, then the whole world's fucked. It's so stupid. But then I got into the world, and I'm like, I've been here, done that in Breath of the Wild, which I like Breath of the Wild. But man, then I got to the section where I got to like IKEA furniture together to get across to the other side. That's what really did it for me. I'm like, this gameplay loop, no, this isn't for me. And I really believe people are not into it. I think people are making themselves into it. For me, this was just boring as fuck. Like an instant regret purchase. And I just don't see people talk about the game. Like, people did some cool things for like a couple days, but this game died. I think people are going to look back. I think there's another game on this list that as soon as it came out, people went, yep, that's the game of the year. And it's like, really? There's going to be a game that knocks off Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? But yeah, because it's rehash Breath of the Wild and it's boring as shit. And that game, is Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. That is the game that people are going, yep, that's game of the year. And now this is probably the game I agree with most as making 2023 great. But again, there's not that many of those games. And again, it's a game that almost stuck with me. I love just walking up to every NPC and the interaction. I think it's so cool. It's something that's just so cool and so much fun, but then I get really angry because I'm like, every game should be like this. Every game, I should be walk up to every NPC that should be voice casted and has all these crazy dialogue options with all different outcomes. If Larian Studios, aren't they independent, can figure it out, everyone should be able to figure it out. But we just haven't yet. But that, to me, what makes it great, to me, what makes it sucks is I hate the combat in this game. I hate the combat so much. I hate just like stumbling upon a fight and just being one-shotted by everybody. And then just restarting, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. I like turn-based. This is a different kind of turn-based for me. I just don't like it. And it really just made me stop playing the game. But I do think this should be game of the year. If certain games do get nominated that I want, but it definitely came out and people forgot about Tears of the Kingdom being the the winner. But again, a game I just didn't. I played maybe like about 15 hours. Never went back. Starfield. Starfield was probably the biggest game this year in terms of just holy crap, what is this? And it launched, and I was bored. I was really bored, guys. Seems to do well, still doing very well. We're like nearly 2 months after it launched, and the game's still doing pretty well. It's a single player game, guys. And I've seen a bunch of cool things. It's a game where I think if I just had free time, like this is the only game I want to play, I think I would enjoy this game. But yeah, those first like 10, 15 hours I played, I just didn't care. I just didn't care. I see people have issues with like all these planets are barren and they just want one world. I'm like, yeah, you'll get that in the next game. Don't worry. It's weird criticism like that where I'm like, okay, this is something different. It's something different. But the game was just boring. It was just boring. I didn't care about the story. I didn't really care about the characters. The way Bethesda writes these characters, I think I saw like a Carnage clip. It's like anytime you like walk up and talk to an NPC, they're talking to you about the game and the lore. Whereas like in Cyberpunk, you walk up at the NPCs and stuff and they're talking about something going on in their lives and not what's going on in your life. But yeah, Starfield, boring. SpiderMan II, another sleeping pill of a game. I remember played like the first scenario. Oh, you know what? I forgot. Final Fantasy 16, that is a bright spot of the year. I forgot to include that in the list. So maybe I do like something, but Spider-Man 2 was just so boring again. Just so super boring. I mean, and to be fair, I'm not into superheroes. I just think the writing's lame. I think Western writers are just some of the most lamest, watered down writers on earth. Like the more Japanese role-playing games, and you know what's scary is I do see some, I don't want to call it wokeness, but just safe writing in some JRPGs, later JRPGs I am playing. That's what I think the problem is with Western writers. They're just so safe. And my God, Spider-Man 2, I didn't get that far. I only played maybe about an hour. Again, the game, I passed out hard when it launched. But man, I'm seeing like the most woke shit ever in a video game to the point where they're absolutely doing it on purpose. I'm not going to mention this stuff. And I hate that I use the word woke, but I don't know what else to call it. Just the pandering. Like I just want to be Spider-Man. I just want to be Spider-Man and kick some ass. Yeah, Mary Jane missions are back. I got to the part where I'm like walking into school with Harry. I'm just like, I'm Spider-Man. Let me go be Spider-Man. But they had to PlayStationify the game with a lot of just dumb shit. But yeah, Spider-Man 2 isn't it. People like it. Can't take it away from people. But for me, another big game down the toilet. Allan Wake 2. Another super boring game. This was so monotonous. Starting out, you're just walking around, examining crime scene, and then you're going into the mine place to examine all the clues. And the game stops you like, hey, you need to go over here and do this. And it's so boring. It's so boring. Now the game apparently gets better. I only played a few hours. But again, if your game is so boring, another sleeping pill of a game, to the point where I have free time to play video games, but that last time I was so bored I passed out, it's hard for me to go back. It is. Now, people are going crazy over the really cool thing in this game. And I watched it, and I'm just like, don't you guys like video games? Don't you guys like video games? I think that's a trend I'm seeing. The more games are becoming more like shows and movies and that people like them, it's really for the casual crowd. The casual crowd likes movies and television shows. So, of course, they're going to like games like Allan Wake 2, where you're just walking and watching shit that they love it. Because I saw that part, I'm like, that's cool how they did this. But again, am I playing a video game or am I watching a television show? Yeah, Alan Wake 2 was boring. Street Fighter 6, forgot about Street Fighter 6. I'm not into fighting games. I think it is rated high. But yeah, I'm not into it. But let's go to the game that people seem to love. And I love too. This is two standouts. Again, I forgot about Final Fantasy 16, which is my game of the year, the game I forgot. Great game. Absolutely love it. And that's a Final Fantasy game some people don't like. Absolutely love it. Game of the year. But Hi-Fi Rush might be my game of the year as well. So I guess in the end, two of these big AAA games, though Hi-Fi Rush, I wouldn't call it a big AAA game, but it's definitely up there. I see in the list of people putting as like, oh, this is what makes 2023 great. Hi-Fi Rush absolutely does. It feels very Xbox 360, and it's like level design and just the campiness feel of it, but it's also JRPG like. It's Japanese, and it has that Japanese writing that I enjoy. Just again, it plays it a little safe, but it's not trying to be like risque or anything, but it's fun as hell. It's fun to watch. The cutscenes, speaking of movies and television shows, are really fun to watch. And the combat's really fun for a rhythm action game, which this is the first rhythm action game that I played and enjoyed, and of course beat. It's very, I want to call it forgiving. You can just play it like a regular brawler, but it rewards you for being on beat. But this game's amazing. The voice acting, amazing. Eric Limbeck, Robbie Damon, everyone else. And the game gets better. There's stages in the game just get better and better and better up until the very end. I couldn't believe it. I was enjoying it, and it just got better. Usually games like, okay, this is really cool, then it kind of tapers off. But Hi-Fi Rush is absolutely awesome. I really hope it does get nominated for Game of the Year. I don't think it will. But if they do the whole like, oh, we need representation from the big three, I think Hi-Fi Rush would get it over Starfield. They would only do Starfield just because it's a big game and it had so much hype going into it. But yeah, Hi-Fi Rush, Final Fantasy 16, 2 out of like what, 10 games out there that people are talking about. Yeah, 2023 wasn't a great year for gaming. Now, for me personally, I do have my JRPGs. I got Star Ocean. I played Trails to Azure, Trails into Reverie. I got Super Mario RPG. I guess in that sense, gaming's good. Oh yeah, I forgot about Super Mario Wonder. Yeah, I don't care about Mario. I'm not until I have kids. But yeah, 2023, not a great year for gaming. But hey, game is not for everyone. At least this year, it's not for me. Just my few games that I like. But I gotta go. Hey, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Later.